have a motion to open up the meeting?
Make a motion that we open up the meeting?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So, sorry we're getting started a little bit late here. Apologize. So, first thing up, approval of minutes, January 9th, February 6th. I'm sorry, public speak. Is anyone here who has anything they want to address the board with that is not on the agenda today? No one? Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
We might want to revisit public speak when we come down to new business.
Sure, absolutely. Other than that, do you have anything else? Okay, so we have minutes, January 9th, February 6th. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
I
I have. Okay.
make a motion that we approve the minutes for the January 9th meeting.
All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion that we approve the minutes for the February 6th meeting.
I approve. I just,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Please,
Yeah, organized for you.
Yes, thank you. One at a time.
So first up,
Yep.
first up is going to be Fort Hill.
Fort Hill. Okay, do we have someone here from the Fort Hill? Very high. State your name for the record, please.
Kristen Gillespie.
Okay, just explain to us what this, what the special license is for, please.
Sure, it's for a one-day license for our Barks and Brews event. It's our second time doing the event. It's going to be taking place on Sunday, June 11th at the brewery from 12 to 4 p.m. So we did it last year and we were pretty successful in roping off the area and just giving us a little more space for the attendees to spill out from the tap room into that roped off area and to have beverages in plastic cups outside in that area.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on this? Okay. I just, the one thing, you said 12 to 4 and the license application says 12 to 6.
Yeah, I think I put that just because I think it was kind of difficult to take down everything right after we're open until 6 that day, so I figured just leave it and get the permits like a full day.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the special one-day license for Fort Hill Brewery for June 11th for 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Kristen, do you have the payment? Okay, for both?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so next up is going to be the Fort Hill Abandoned and New City.
Yes. Okay. So do we have someone representing one or all?
I'm here from Abandoned Building,
State your name, please.
Matt Tarlecki,
Okay, do a map.
doing fine, thanks.
Sam Dibble was not able to attend, and I said that that was fine.
Okay. So just explain the event.
So this is our second year participating. This is the first year that we're going to have the other two breweries on board. It's a charity fundraiser held in Millside Park, downtown by the Widow Sons Stonecutters chapter. So they do a ride down into the park, and then they have like a festival there. So we'll all three be pouring at the event.
Just, so with that application, the board will see that I've requested the certificates of insurance from all three breweries. If TIPS is not within that package, it is on file. We also have, at Millside, because it's part of Parks and Rec, we need a police detail. And attached is the confirmation for that police detail that day.
Attached here?
Yes,
Oh, good.
back 2 pages, you'll see.
Can I add something also?
Please.
This is the same location where we had the Millside Park concerts last year, which we were roping off the area with the orange construction fence to keep everyone in the licensed location. And we'll be doing that again for this event also.
Okay. Forgive me. Didn't, maybe time just goes by really quickly. Didn't the new Stonecutters chapter just have this?
May.
This
May
was,
was-
that was
Was here.
last
Yeah.
May?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Shocking.
It really, it seemed like that just happened.
Because remember, some
I
of the
remember
guys
all about
came
it,
here.
yeah, no, I remember it very well, because they were gonna do it, you were gonna do it at your place,
Yeah.
right?
And we ended up doing it at
And they ended up doing it at
Millside.
Millside, because the first year, didn't they do it at the Pulaski parking lot?
Yes.
Yeah,
Pulaski?
Yes.
Club, yeah.
It did not go well.
And, okay, I don't remember that it didn't go well.
I think the space is too small.
Yeah, and I heard great things about this event, so, that's great. Okay, well, and another thing, you did mention the roping off over there. So, is this going to, is this event gonna be similar to the events that were happening at Millside throughout? You mentioned the roping off, but the same way that people are gonna be counted as coming in and counted going out? Because that's the way they were doing it at the concerts that you were doing throughout the summer.
Right, I think you guys are gonna be doing wristbands.
Yeah, we'll be doing 21 plus wristbands. Honestly,
Okay.
that part of the event is sort of more taken over by the host, so I don't know exactly how they're going to be monitoring.
So the hosts are taking care of that?
Yeah, we will be ourselves supplying the 21 plus bracelets and everything.
And you're gonna be obviously serving.
Yes.
So if I may, the breweries that will be serving, I think really need to pay attention to who they're serving and to make sure there is a wristband.
Correct.
Because I believe last year, someone could go up with a wristband and buy 4 beers, but they don't technically know who they're giving that to. So I think that maybe they need to keep track of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, in special attention, you guys should just be aware, you are roping off the area as it runs along the bike path, like where the basketball courts are, and so people can sort of wander in that way and wander out. I think more the concern is wandering out with alcohol. I just noticed that when I went to one of the events this summer, where it seemed pretty easy. I mean, it's kind of hard to monitor because usually it's dark.
Right.
Well, 7 p.m., no, it's not, but it's just something to just be aware of.
Okay.
We can definitely make that recommendation to Mike and the organization that they should be, counting people coming in and out. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and I think that you might want to mention to them that you as the servers only serve the person that's there. You can't give out multiple drinks.
Yeah, I'll make up some signs for us to have it.
And there's a central location to obtain a wristband, or you can get the wristband at the place of getting the alcohol?
I would think when you enter.
It's gonna
is
be
there-
When you enter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been pretty good.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in my experience, when I went to one this
Yeah.
summer, there was from what I remember, there was a kiosk where you would get, you would be counted coming in and coming out, because I noticed people counting, but there was a central kiosk where you would actually get carded, and that's where you got the wristband, and then you could go to any 1 or 2 places to actually get a beer.
And I think that's what we could suggest to them to run this time, because obviously.
I would think they really want to do that, because if they're gonna be carding people as they're coming in, that's gonna create quite a backlog of people filing in and out of there, so. Okay. Any questions? Anyone have anything else they wanna add?
Nope.
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve the one-day special permit for Fort Hill Brewery, New City Brewery, and Abandoned Building Brewery for May 6th from 12 to 7 p.m. at Millside Park.
My second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Kristen, once I receive Sam's payment, then I'll release the license.
I have a motion.
Okay, Riverside Industries, next. Okay, Riverside Industries,
Shar?
hello, hi Shar, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So, give us a little.
Yeah, so this is our 13th annual Riverside Silence and Live auction. And as I said, we've been doing it for 13 years. I can hardly believe it's up again, but it is. This year, we're looking at a specialty drink that will have vodka. Pretty much, we've been doing beer and wine, so this is the first time we're gonna try kind of a specialty drink and see how that goes, so hence full liquor instead of just beer and wine. Questions? What would you like to know?
Can they have that?
They're nonprofit, so yes.
They can, okay. I don't know.
It's all right over here.
Yes, thank you, I'm
Just
sorry, right
checking.
at One Country, no, thank you, yeah, when we first started it, we did it for 2 years with
Yeah.
liquor, and then we decided not to, and this year we're trying something new. And I don't know if you needed this, maybe it's.
Yes, that would be
I
great.
think you had it on file. Anyhow, yes, it
Anyone
is
else?
right at One Cottage Street.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I'm
Board, motion?
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the one-day permit for Riverside Industries for April 7th from 6 PM to 11 PM at One Cottage Street.
They said.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just gonna quickly take a second. Okay,
No,
next.
we're not ready
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry, we're not ready yet. My hands full. Okay. On to, yes, Myers Catering.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
State your name for the record, please.
Rich Lyman from Riffs and Myers Catering. This is a special one-day license for the East Hampton City Arts fundraiser that's taking place at the Boylston Room at the Keystone Building at 122 Pleasant Street.
Okay. Questions? Brad,
No.
anyone have anything? The motion?
Make a motion that we approve the one-day license for Myers Catering for April 6th from 7 PM to 10 PM at the Boylston Room on 22 Pleasant Street.
That's second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
If you want to have one,
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll figure out. Probably gonna take labor, probably just 2 days of each. Actually, if you want to just plan on that, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, she already put an order for this earlier for the barber this week. 2 of each.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. See you later. Thank you, folks.
Okay, enough said. No, thank you. Thanks for that. Trying to compose myself now.
I totally missed one, that's
It's
fine.
no, I'll share it with you later. Abandoned Brewery?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Wow.
So let me explain, because this was as a suggestion from our office. These are his special Friday, Food Truck Friday events that he had done last year. So as opposed to him coming back multiple times, we had said put it all on the one application, get it over with, one application fee. And this was also a question, so I researched it. And there's a certain number that an individual can pull in 1 year for special one days, and it was 30.
Oh.
So I wanted to find
Yeah,
that
it
and
was
also
30.
let Matt know.
Mhm.
But I also wanted to show the board that in case someone didn't know that.
So it looks like you still have a few more you can get.
We do, but
Now, if I remember right, that can only go for individuals, right?
Well, this is not a multiple brewery one, this is just for Matt's
Okay.
abandoned, yep.
Yeah, because I knew it was just an individual.
Yeah, so now it's just on his brewery.
Okay, so it's the same thing?
so,
Ben?
The first one, which is occurring on Saturday, May 13th, is
Yeah.
actually our 3rd-year anniversary party. And then starting on May 26th
Mhm.
for every other Friday through October. And this is going to occur in the same area, the same roped-off area in the parking lot behind the building where the brewery is located at. We're going to have these Food Truck Fridays, which we have approved food trucks coming out, serving food. We have a live band, and we had set up an outdoor beer garden, which is essentially what the anniversary party is too, just a different day, a different time. And we have at least 5 tip-certified people that will be working these events, people at the door checking IDs, handing out stamps to people that are 21 and over, and giving another wristband for people who are not 21. So there's a easy way to identify who's drinking, who should not be drinking. We have the okay from our landlord for this. We have the food trucks signed up already. And this is what we did last year, once a month with a lot of success. So we're shooting for every other, basically twice a month this year.
What happens if it rains?
That's a good question. It happened a few times last year. A few times it did rain on our event. People either hang out, they just kind of get wet, or they end up leaving. So we had a few that were not very well attended.
So, but can they come into the brewery and hang out in the brewery and just go outside and get the food from the food trucks and go in?
That is an option. We do specify and have people at the doors saying that they cannot bring any drinks between the brewery and the outdoor area because the indoor hallway is not licensed.
Right.
So people do go inside, but we stress that everything has to stay in the 2 separate locations.
Okay.
So the license is under his name.
Those are my questions.
Okay. Any other questions?
This one's gonna be a long one.
How about you just say date specified and attach it? You work for a law office.
I make a motion that we approve the 1-day permits for the days and hours specified in the permit for the abandoned building brewery at Mill 142 Pleasant Street.
I'm second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have a check for 975?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was 1,050, 25.
How about, is that what
Yes,
I have now?
yes, 1,025.
And then here's some updated tips cards.
Perfect.
And our current COI.
So, unless I missed a lot, which I do, you had thought about doing that deck.
Correct.
Has that gone anywhere, or?
We were, the common hallway
Hmm.
that runs
Was-
along the building,
Which was the problem?
that was the problem. So we shelved the deck idea and instead are now kind of decided to move forward with these more frequent outdoor events. We looked at this as, many different angles
Hmm.
with the deck.
That's too bad. Got some sort of compromise there could have been reached.
I do have a piece under new business that we need to address with Matt, so I don't know if you want to do new business a couple of times or just have him wait until we get to that section. It's something very simple,
Okay.
but it's not correlated to these special Mondays, so it's however you want to address it.
Well, I would change gears and just go to that.
Sure. He's here. Talking to him. Okay.
Okay, so
So
let me just.
before we move on,
One business item.
yeah.
And Matt, I'll just mail this to you.
Sound great?
So Matt has submitted a letter to the board. And what this letter basically is for is he is leasing some additional space. And I contacted Ralph Sacrimoni at ABCC. He is not he's not storing any alcohol in this additional space. It's not connected to his blueprint or his, licensed area. So we just wanted to make sure, because at first he was under the impression that he needed to do a alteration of premises. And so, after discussion, we're like, there's no alcohol in this space, is that necessary? So I called, Ralph, and he said if he puts a letter in writing and we can place in his folder saying that he will not be storing any alcohol in this new lease space, then that's how he can do it. He won't need to do an
Then he wouldn't
alteration.
need it, yeah.
So basically, that's what this letter is for.
Sounds fair to me.
So if your board wants to just make a motion to accept the letter.
Sure.
Make a motion that we accept the letter from the abandoned brewery in regards to the additional lease space.
I second it.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, good
You're
day.
welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna change gears for you a little just to, GZ Bagel Inc., DBA Tandem Bagel, is up for their seasonal renewal.
Mhm.
And you do need to address this evening because the license is from April 1st,
Yep.
2018 through January 15. I assumed that they were going to be here this evening. They are not, but I think this is pretty straightforward. It's just their renewal of their
Yeah,
seasonal.
How are they doing? Do you have any idea?
I think they're doing well. They only use this when Williston is not in session, because that's what Williston
I think,
has
yeah, wasn't
requested.
there
Yeah, so,
Something about Williston.
yeah, they just didn't want the kids on campus,
Yeah.
and then having Tandem Bagel utilize that special one day, and so Tandem is perfectly fine with that, so.
Yeah.
um,
I think that was right from the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they're allowed to, but, their landlord doesn't want them to, so.
Yeah.
But basically, that's just all the renewal paperwork. And the way we renew it through the ABCC is I don't need the board's signature, it's an electronic one, but I do need a signature and approval on the physical license that we give to Tandem.
I don't have a problem with that.
You have any problems with that?
Nope.
Okay. Any discussion?
No.
I make a motion that we approve the seasonal liquor license for GZ Bagel Inc. doing business as Tandem Bagel Company.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just one place right now. Just one place right here.
Okay.
What you got up next is an update from Michael Baird.
You sure can. Step right up.
So first off, my apologies, I missed meeting with you guys last time. I showed up the following day. My bad, my apologies once again, sorry about that. That's, well, it shouldn't happen, but it did. Since my last update with you guys, with the hiring of a new building commissioner, I was able to get my building permit finally after all these years. So I got that right before the end of the year. Since then, I've been with the health department, we've remedied any of her concerns, redrawn the plans, got the architectural plans back from that, and construction's underway. So all the concrete's been dug up and excavated, foundation's been excavated, all the plumbing's on site, and it is going in as we speak. Well, not as we speak, I'm still waiting for the permit from the plumbing guy, but he was on vacation. So,
Is the fire department, have they been in and approved already?
No, I'm not ready for the CO yet, so certificate of occupancy yet. They had a preliminary, I mean, through the building permitting process, they've been through the building.
So you've got all the permits so that you're starting construction, you started construction?
Yes, started construction, yep.
Okay, and do you have an anticipated completion date?
I was hoping for Memorial Day, but that seems a little ambitious now, because every
Okay.
time a contractor tells me 2 days, it sometime turns into 10.
Okay. Alright.
But-
Understood.
But it's a relief to finally be under construction.
So then it's
Like, it's all out of my, it's out of my hands.
It's gonna be
at
this
point.
year.
Oh, yes, absolutely. No, it's
Okay.
out of my hands at this point.
Okay.
Because I can't, I can paint once the sheet rock is done or whatever, but I can't do anything,
Right.
so.
but
Except sign the
anticipated,
checks.
so opening is going to be 2000.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Are you open now, or?
No. No, I was held up for a little while in the building department, so I'm finally.
I know, that
It's-
seems like every time you come in, there's
It's,
something.
well, it's kind of funny, because every time I'd have a quote and be ready to go, and I'd get held up again, and then remedy that situation, and I'd held up again. And it's been a long, long road to actually finally have that piece of paper in my hand to actually begin construction.
So has the original business plan as it relates to your liquor license changed at all? Not at all?
No. Everything is still the same. Maybe the drawings that you have, the architectural drawings, the health inspector has relocated some things of concern of hers. But structurally, the walls are where they are, and everything's as they are on the plans that you have.
So the licensed area isn't changed at
No,
all?
none of the licensed areas change. It's all the same as what you guys have already had. That wasn't my holdup. My holdup was just some issues with, yeah.
Understood,
So,
it happens.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
at least now everything's.
So we're on track.
Oh, we are on track.
because that's why you're here, because
Yes.
we were,
Yeah, and even like the
Getting
last,
concerned.
and even like, yeah, and rightly so, as was I.
Yeah.
I've been at this a long time,
Yeah.
been writing a lot of checks for.
So what
every single-
happens after Memorial Day if it's not open again?
I haven't even opened yet, so I've been under construction, so my target for certificate of occupancy would be that. If it's not, it's gonna be shortly thereafter. It's gonna be this summer. I mean, I have to open it in the summer. It's.
Yeah, because you're sitting on license
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
you know.
I know, but I
it's-
also don't wanna miss the target of income.
I mean,
this
you only
summer.
have 3 years
Yeah.
to do it,
Yep, I'm aware, yeah,
you know, and,
yeah.
you know, we're trying, and to the point, you know, the AB's gonna see, is gonna say, hey, what are you guys doing?
Absolutely.
You know, and
And I have everything cataloged since I've had the license that I've been through, so, I would, if they ever address that issue, I'm more than competent to show what's.
yeah, I know you're gonna say, no, but you're sitting on a pocket license now.
Technically, I mean, you could.
No, there's no
Well,
technically, you're sitting on a pocket
A
license.
pocket license is one that's transferable. This one could never leave my property. I understand what you're saying. I do. But it's not a transferable license that can leave my
It's
property.
still on the books for us.
Yes. And I've been trying to, I've been actively trying to push for it since the moment I've received that license from you. So-
Whether it's transferable or not, it's still a license under
Yes.
under us,
Yes.
and whether you can move it or not.
Oh, I didn't know if it was, I suppose what I was asking was, I didn't know if it fell under the guidelines of an actual pocket license, like in Northampton, when you just sit
well,
on it forever. like-
it's not exactly a technical term either.
Right,
so.
oh, okay, so,
But certainly.
but I understand
I mean,
your
the
concerns,
point is that,
and-
it was issued some time ago.
Yes,
and,
agreed, yeah.
The board has to do its due diligence by
Absolutely.
asking you what's going on.
And we are under construction, and
Okay. So then, there is no doubt that by the end of the calendar year,
Oh my goodness,
2017,
yes.
you're
Yes.
gonna be open for business and using that
Yes.
license.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
would the board like to check in with Mr. Mayor in September
And I-
before we get into renewals of
I think that would be a
licenses?
very good idea.
To make sure that
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
either he's already opened
Mhm.
or he has a definite open date for you, so then when you consider renewing his license, you have that information.
And at any point, I'd be up for a walkthrough. I mean, all you're gonna see is a bunch of holes in the cement and piles of dirt. and
Well, hopefully by
plumbing-
September,
plumbing supplies everywhere,
hopefully by
but you're
September
more
that
than
will be the
welcome.
case. Hopefully by September, a walkthrough will be a finished product.
Yes,
Right.
hopefully you're having dinner.
Okay.
So,
Very good.
but,
All right.
Thank you, and.
Anybody else have any? anything
And like I
to
said,
add?
and at any time, if you guys ever wanna come by, you're more than welcome to. So,
All right.
Awesome, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have you served any food there?
No, right, I still been under
Still in
construction.
construction.
I still been under construction, right, so I haven't.
Well, what about when I was in there?
When
Has
you-
anything been changed since?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, like I had to pull a demolition permit. I took off 550 square feet of the building. And then I had to get an egress from my property to my neighbor's adjoining property for parking. So I've done a lot of little things, but I was getting held up on the actual, I've pulled a bunch of smaller permits, but the actual building permit for the restaurant, not me as a homeowner, I was getting held up on. So, yes, so like, and the licensed areas are already designated, things are already built, patios, that's already out for the licensed, designated licensed areas. No, I haven't served anything. No food, no, because I've been waiting for the go-ahead from the city, so, and now I have it.
Good luck.
Finally.
Thank you. We look forward to its completion.
So do I.
Okay.
Have a good one. Sorry.
Okay, so, just revisit your new business from the last couple items that you want to speak about.
Okay, well, do we want to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Hi.
Hi.
Come on up.
I'm Michelle Fulmer.
Yes, Michelle. So Michelle's going to be considered new under
We put it under new business.
under new business.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so my concern was with Majid and Shahid, how their business licenses are all under different
I
names.
remember.
And
Yes.
can we just state for what
Yes.
business?
Yes,
It's-
just state the name of the
It's
business.
No, Pleasant
Pleasant
Variety.
variety.
So the beer and wine license is still under Shahid, but the business license is under Majid, and the cigarette license, and I feel like that's a whole undermining thing with the cigarette license, because I just don't think it's all on them enough.
Okay.
I thought it should be.
I'm not texting, I'm just looking on the Secretary of State's website to see if he's put
Yeah.
in a change of manager. So I'm not
Sure,
texting.
Sure. Sure.
That's the Pleasant Street, right?
So
We're talking.
Yes.
Okay.
we really haven't done anything about this?
No.
Our board?
Well, no, because you guys,
and I
because he
really-
didn't get he didn't, like, he couldn't do a change of manager.
We
Right.
didn't accept that, yes.
Right.
So-
So now, I think he's counting on the different boards, different people in this building not talking to each other.
Okay.
That's what my theory is, to see
Okay.
if we can get away with it. But maybe the rules have changed, I mean, we were in, maybe I'm old school and the business licenses don't need to match anymore. Maybe it's me, right? I don't know, we always thought they all had to match.
Right. I mean, I guess
And I've been talking to the people and have.
it almost seems to me, and I don't know for sure, that it wouldn't necessarily be the people in this building who aren't talking to each other, although it could be contributing to it. But it seems to me that maybe people on the state level aren't really seeing the whole picture either. Because when we're talking about various state agencies that are responsible for this as well, since she's looking under Secretary of State, so, and Secretary of the Treasury, I mean, there's gotta be income taxes and reporting
Right.
taxes on the products being sold that have to be reported as well. And it would seem to me that if they're coming from a same location but three different revenue streams, then it seems to me that it would be on the state level where the alert would have come up. And, certainly I know that any state or town or city municipality is guilty of sometimes not knowing what one hand and the other hand's doing. And I know for sure the state has that same problem. So I don't know maybe if that's contributing to this issue. Now, is there anything above that you have a concern with? I mean, I'm just asking out of curiosity. I mean, is there something else that
Like what? What else?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I don't know.
I just
mean,
don't feel like everything's.
All right, at
Okay.
the Secretary of State's office, it is Shahad,
Okay.
is the manager, he is the real property, he can sign papers and things like that, that's what that means.
for
Yeah,
For the corporation, for Nexel, the Nexel.
Yep.
Okay, so Connexel is not dissolved, it's still going.
That is, Date of organization 9/2012, domestic limited. And let me just look under filings to see if they filed an annual report, to see if they have changed any names on it. And there has been an annual report filed on 2/15/17. And they also state a change of resident office address by resident agent. Let's see what that looks like. Sorry, it's hard when you're looking on a cell phone for corporate documents. Address, new agent office, he's just putting his address as 19 Spring Meadow, South Hadley, is that his
Yeah.
address? Okay, he let the Secretary of State's office know that. Let me see what else they have to file. Everything looks.
Okay, so now the business license is in, was it Nash, what is it? Nash? No, that's not his name, but he made up a name for a business. That's under a whole different, yeah, which is, he has a different name for the business.
This is all I can see filed with the Secretary of State.
Okay, because if Shahid is still saying he's the owner, but he told they told the cigarette licensing people if they sold it and they're no longer in, so Shahid can no longer get in trouble. And he changed the business license to this new guy's name. Isn't that assigning a beer and wine license to somebody else? I thought you couldn't do that either.
I don't
Isn't
think
it
the
right?
beer and wine license actually changed hands.
No, it hasn't.
Right, but this other guy's
The-
using
I-
it.
The business certificate, I don't think has any bearing on the liquor license, so, but I think what Michelle is trying to find out is, do these different licenses, either them being local or state, have anything to do with each other because they are in separate names? So I think, she's come to the board to try to find out,
Like how it works now.
are all of these different licenses or agencies supposed to communicate, and it's all supposed to be one? Now, obviously, you're just liquor end, tobacco is not under your purview, so, and then the business certificate, I don't know what that business certificate even allows, to be honest with you. What is I don't wanna say what's the point of that business certificate, but what is the,
Well, it
because I think the
Certainly-
business is just the business certificate, I wanna say is just a local thing, but I'm not positive.
most of the time, but I mean, it's different, I mean, if it's different if it's an incorporation. I mean, anybody can walk into the city clerk's office and get an application, have a business, and it's just a business. Now, I don't necessarily think that, and this is just me talking, because I don't know exactly how it works, that that the business license name necessarily needs to be the same name as the person who is authorized to sell the tobacco. Although, on the face of it, doesn't really sound like it makes sense. One would think that a business is, Smith's store, and Smith's store sells alcohol, tobacco, and greeting cards, whatever, right? I mean, because they sell more than at this, is it just a beer and wine?
It's a convenience
It's just
store.
it's a convenience store that sells beer and wine. So, I guess it seems logical that it would all be under one business name, but.
Yeah, because to
Right.
me, that would seem like it's assigning the beer and wine license to somebody else, is what I would think. And we were under the impression my whole life that you couldn't do that.
Well, I'm just thinking of the application, when someone comes in here with a new application for a liquor license, nowhere in that application do we require a business certificate, a copy of that. So I'm just wondering if that really has any bearing on the liquor license. Now, does it have bearing on the tobacco, and is that why they did it, because they wanted to change the tobacco? I think that might be Board of Health, because
I
you
would
just-
say that too.
Yeah,
I
so,
mean, a business certificate is a town thing.
Yeah.
It's at the town level, where this business, the next cell is state level. This is what they're registered with the
Because
state.
they're incorporated.
So any taxing and things like that, revenues, those all have to be reported because they're listed on here. Plus, they have to do an annual report every year and say who the manager is of the company and everything else. Now, I do see they didn't report for 2015, they did everything, 2015 and 2016 in 2017. They just filed everything, which leads me to believe that they spoke to an attorney or somebody who advised them that they had to get this done, because they couldn't, but like say they went to a bank and they needed to borrow money, they wouldn't have been able to do that without these annual reports being filed.
The other one's an incorporation too.
I do recall though, Kelly, in the last meeting, we did have them present. And I don't know if that was the January meeting or the February meeting. I can't remember.
I think it was
what meeting.
February, it was February.
Depending on the date of that, I do remember that you had mentioned to them, because you had already looked up and that they were not in good standing. So I'm curious on if after that meeting, they did get their act together and do this
Yeah,
report.
because it says 215.
Yeah.
It was filed in 215 electronically.
So your main question is
Yeah,
it improper
Yeah.
for this business operating as a Pleasant Street Variety to have a
Right.
different entity who owns the business,
Yeah.
a different person who owns the right to sell tobacco, and a different person who owns the right to sell the alcohol? Is that
There's no alcohol, beer and wine.
beer and wine? Sorry, just beer and wine. So those three things. So
Okay.
So to me, it seems like the way to undermine the tobacco, like, that's what you do, that if you screw up your cigarette license, that you would just change the name on it and it doesn't affect anything else, and that's what, I just don't know if I feel like if you start allowing that, then, I would
So
just.
who approves the tobacco? Is it the Board of Health?
I think so.
Okay.
So I think that probably would be under an agenda item from them if they.
If you had the alcohol,
Yeah,
okay, I go in and buy a six-pack,
yeah,
okay. Now I go over to the convenience store.
it's all one now,
Huh?
they made it all one store.
They made it all one store.
Yeah, it's done all
So
one.
I go over, buy potato chips, meat, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? Now the convenience store has a financial or beneficial interest into that liquor store. So now that liquor store would have a beneficial or financial interest into the liquor store. So their name would have to be on the license also, because they have a beneficial financial interest in that liquor store. Because once they go in for the liquor, they can buy whatever they want here too. Because if they're not going in to buy, if they're going into the liquor buy alcohol, why can't, they're not going in there just to buy potato chips. They're going in there to buy alcohol,
Okay.
if you understand what I mean.
I understand what you mean, but I don't understand how it
Because
explains.
they're making a profit, the other store.
No, they made it all one store though.
Huh?
It's all one store now.
Yeah, but you're talking a difference, the package store.
No,
No, they're all one store.
They-
I know, but you're talking about a different license.
Right, right.
Someone else
For the
having a
tobacco,
different
for
license.
the
Michelle,
tobacco part.
What is,
So
is there an
the
issue
convenience
that you
store
feel
isn't
that he's
on that
subletting his
license.
lease?
Right.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're dealing with that
So now
separately with the lawyer.
the
and we're-
convenience
Okay,
store
'cause that's what I was gonna
would
say.
have
But
a
you just, right,
financial
we
interest.
are, but I just,
Okay.
for going
Check it
future
out.
for everybody.
You'll
I
be
just-
able to read what financial benefit.
We were under the impression that that all the licenses.
It's
need to
right on the
match. And we were under-
application,
and then when
last
I
financial
was figuring out what was going on, I just didn't, I just thought this was a bad thing to let start happening. Because then now, if that guy down there screws up his cigarette license, let's just change names on it. Okay, let's leave the beer, and then, I just don't, I don't know. It just seems like, but
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
guys don't mind,
A perfect
then-
example,
Yeah.
okay, what you saw tonight, the one-day permit, Myers Catering. Now, the check for Myers Catering was not from Myers Catering. That was from somebody and somebody who is a partner with Myers Catering. So there are different names that go into different companies.
Okay.
I mean, so granted, something might be in one name and something might be in another name to get the end result. So that does happen.
okay. So
Right,
this
but
guy-
it still, but
this-
still sounds, sorry, but it just, it sounds, I agree with you, is that it sounds a little strange that there would be one name on the liquor license and one name on whatever permit
Right.
or license that you get to, the authorization to sell tobacco.
Right, because now this guy's
Why is
buying
that?
beer and wine
Right.
from the
Now-
different distributors, and it, to me, I mean.
Who is the person who has a license who isn't technically a United States citizen?
No.
He's the one he tried to change it
He's the
to
one who
manager.
tried to become the
Yes,
manager. That's
yes.
not the, now, that individual doesn't have the tobacco license.
Yes.
That-
That's what she's saying.
That's the-
He does.
Yeah,
He
he's-
does.
And
Yes.
he's the one that also did the business certificate. But if the business certificate is what drives the tobacco license for the Board of Health for approval,
Right.
I'm thinking that this falls under their
Maybe.
meeting, yeah.
So they're telling the Board of Health that Shahid doesn't own the business anymore, that this guy does, so that this guy will get in trouble with the cigarettes. Yet Shahid's telling me and you that he still owns the business.
I don't know who to ask this question.
So, if it's the Board of Health that approves the tobacco license, I think that then maybe they should put it on one of their meetings as an agenda item. They need to discuss it. If they want to ask the licensing board for maybe either a letter or, you know, any proof that what the liquor license is under, they can do that. But if the main concern is the business certificate and the tobacco, and those two are related, I really think that it's probably under their jurisdiction. And if they just want backup information from the licensing board on whose name is on that license,
So,
so.
there's no way to tell who actually owns this business.
It, as
It's
far
all-
as our records, it is
Shahid.
Shahid for Nexel, and that's what the state also knows.
But then what's that Mao whatever name that you made up?
That is only on that business certificate,
It's
so that's
not
why
anything
it has
else.
nothing to do with this board. We don't have that name for anything. The only place it showed up was on that business certificate, and you're saying the tobacco, which
Well,
this
what-
board
They
those
doesn't.
changed it on the J. Pollock order, they changed it on a bunch of the.
Alright.
Yeah, those are
Well-
their, just the people they order things
Let
from,
me-
which we don't have
and then-
access to.
Let me
We don't.
see if it's a true company, if it's registered with the Secretary of State.
Oh,
There's a guy that sells the alcohol.
it's all one, just one.
You have to tell me what the name is though, do you
Where?
know?
Gonna sell it or whatever. Does he pay rent to the other guy?
I'm thinking that's what's happening, because Shahid's still paying rent to us, and I had asked that guy about it, and he said, oh no, he's gonna pay rent to Shahid.
He's
And he
gonna
said-
pay rent.
Yeah, and so, and there's been a lot of issues, like,
I need the name for
did
the,
you have it?
That's benefits financial
See if I
interest.
have
Well, like, he
Yeah,
won't,
paperwork,
it's,
use that spot.
he's trying to say he's running the store for Shahid, but then there's a bunch of things that just, it doesn't seem like that's what's happening. It seems like he owns.
I don't have it.
Yep.
I didn't bring
Bear
it.
with me a moment. It
I'm
might
so
be just
sorry.
right. No,
I
no
made it, it
worries.
was, I made it in the packet. like-
Yes, yeah, no.
Thank you guys for helping
If whatever help we're actually being.
me.
Kelly's
Well,
helping out.
Helping me sort it out, 'cause- And part of my job is going to all the other stores, so of course I've been talking to everybody, and everybody thinks,
Everybody knows.
well, everybody seems to, I mean, they're supposed to match, and I've been looking at all the stores and. Who knows? I
it's not
even-
easy doing this on this
And even asked one of the stores, I said, so what happens if you screw up your cigarette license? He's like, oh, I'll just put it in my wife's name. And I said, and then you change all the licenses? And he's like, yep, I gotta change them all. So, apparently, which makes it hard for like people that like really like guard their cigarettes and, I mean, I know you just beer and alcohol, beer and wine. It just doesn't seem like, I think if I tried to, my address says Pleasant Street Package Store where I live, but I think if I was to try to buy beer and wine wholesale, I think they'd throw me in jail.
This is the name,
without a license.
Pleasant Variety and Package Store? That's
Is that the
name?
business
That must be
certificate
it,
that he
Pleasant
put
Variety.
his name?
Where, no, it's like, began with a,
Let me flip through the rest of the paperwork. I was just quickly trying to look for the business certificate, which, well, that's got that Majid Malik on there.
but it was under a Nashu or some sort of incorporation. Can anybody go to that website?
No.
Yeah, really? Oh, yeah.
No, this is the business certificate that was filed with the city clerk, and they are calling it Pleasant Variety and Package Store.
Huh. When did what's the date on that?
That was in December of 16.
That used to be a Verity.
This is where,
That-
this
yeah,
is the
he took it
packet.
after- he rented it from
This
my
is
dad
the
after.
packet that you had
Got my dad.
provided us.
Okay, so there's no license.
And so you said the Board of Health Office, the tobacco license changed to Majid Malik, DBA Maha Inc. So that's what the Board of Health has for that tobacco license, but not the business certificate. So now you've got like multiple names going on.
Did you see it?
You
I'm
talked to Rob.
I'm running his name,
She says
see
that
if he's on a
the
book.
package store part.
He is
is what
not,
pay rent.
he's not, no
To the
records are found.
convenience store.
under-
No, they made it all one. They took down a wall, which is
Yeah, but
actually a
you put a
load-bearing
different
wall.
guy
You
in
have
to manage that.
No, we didn't, you did not accept
No.
that application, so
Oh,
no.
we didn't
No.
accept it? Oh, okay.
So nothing has changed on our end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
I was wrong, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I thought we were gonna do
It's the
that.
secretary.
No. The manager that he wanted to pick did not have appropriate.
Oh, he had a green card?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we did not accept it.
Oh, okay. Mike, I'm wrong then.
No, we have a lot of meetings,
been a
right?
couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, he had a green card.
Look on the
So it's the same
corporate
guy then, he owns everything.
Pleasant
That,
Variety and Package.
well, this is what's up for debate right now,
It's not even showing.
is our liquor license is under Naxal. But what Michelle is trying to figure out if all licenses or certificates need to be under the same exact name. So, and then,
Seems like
and
it
Ke-
would
and
be.
Kelly is looking, on
Pleasant
the state.
Variety Inc. 41 Pleasant, 44 Pleasant Street.
It seems like it would be all under the same name, good same
But
corporation.
different boards approve different licenses, so tobacco is not, you
So
already
what
know,
did you
not
find it
part of the
under?
license.
Pleasant Variety?
This must be old, because this is under Palmgren. It's you. With your phone.
Would it be, it's the same owners? Under the board of directors and,
No, what,
This is-
So
no,
what-
I mean, the tobacco.
but the tobacco doesn't have anything to do with your board. I think
No,
it's
I know,
Board of
I'm
Health.
just,
Yeah, and we don't know the answer, Ray, on if they all are supposed to be under the same.
yeah.
I mean, and if we don't know the
Did you try the Mid Howard one?
and if we don't know the answer, we need, is it up to the licensing board to inquire?
Yeah.
And try to
This
find
is
that
it.
answer, is basically where we're at.
I gotta
Yeah,
go to that
it seems-
website. I didn't know that.
I mean, should
Yeah, just
you
go to the
run it
Secretary of
off?
State website.
Seems like they
Wow.
all should be the same.
Yeah, you can get like all kinds of information on people's businesses now.
Because why would they have one license in your name, one in mine, and one in hers?
That's what she's concerned about.
Yeah.
So, she's just trying to find some direction on.
Yeah.
See what we got,
on
44 Pleasant
If
Street.
everything is
East
legit.
Uh,
See what they have to say. So. Wasn't Chicopee. He is the president, treasurer, secretary, and director. For, what is this? Date of organization 11/9/16. Let's see what it says on the type of business. Just takes a minute,
Anticipation.
It's
So
a
does
cell phone.
419 Montcalm Street, Chicopee mean anything to you, as far as meeting?
I think
It
that's
looks
what
like
we're trying
that
to
is on the business,
That one,
yeah.
all right, that's where it is.
No, annual reports and no fee charge changes for retention period. 10 years. All right. Retail business. The type of business that they're asking for. That's it, there's no annual report or anything filed, it's just the articles of organization, and that just is what establishes the company. So it is a true company, this Mahalik.
And Majid Malik is the president, treasurer, secretary, and director.
So, that answers that question for you. Not that it helps you, but it definitely is.
Well, I guess it's an interesting question, one in that, can a business operate a business with a subcontracting business within it and sell something to the effect of tobacco and or alcohol? So I mean, be similar to a hairdresser who has their own business, independent contractor who rents a chair inside a business that's owned by somebody else. Kind of the same thing, right? You know, if his business is just selling tobacco in this store, then if he's not paying rent to you, well, then he's paying rent to the person who is leasing the space from you.
Right.
Now,
And he's getting
the only
fair line.
thing, I mean, I certainly, I don't know how that works, but anytime you sign a lease with someone, generally you put, there's something in that lease that says something about subleasing. You
Says
rent a
that,
house,
yeah.
you get a house, so you can't then go off and rent it to somebody else, right? Which in some respects is what this person is doing, is that they have a business, from the way I read it.
Well, I have an issue that if this other guy who holds the liquor license is not on premise, and this other guy is selling the alcohol,
Well, and
then
that's-
I really have a problem.
That's
If
the
the
other
guy
question.
if the
He
guy
needs
selling the
to-
tobacco is actually responsible for selling the alcohol, then he's doing what he tried to apply to be doing, which was to be the manager of the store, when clearly he cannot
And
be.
when I called Williams Distributing, they said that they had talked to him and they decided they weren't gonna do it, but then the checks were coming in from somebody else. And I said, so do you care? And they said they didn't, I said, isn't
They
that
don't care.
illegal?
Sort
And
of.
I was like, isn't that illegal? Isn't he assigning the, and they said, no, we don't care where we don't care where the.
Well, I think if there's one thing we do care about, and I guess it's something we certainly should look into, is who in fact is the manager on premise of this
Exactly, how
business.
many hours, because if we pull out his folder, in it will indicate how many hours that he said he would be on premise when he initially opened this business. So, that is something that the board can pull out, review, and then, if you want,
Oh,
investigate.
So you have to be on premise a certain amount of time?
Well, certainly, there has to be a
I didn't know that.
presence of someone who is the manager or the manager's designee. But generally,
So we didn't, my
Well,
father just
manager
worked
of
day and night,
record,
so we never knew.
the manager of record is the one that gets to be, not as a designee, I think it's the manager
yeah,
of
but they don't have to be
record.
that present at all times.
Whatever their application, I believe, was approved of, so say he put in his initial application that he would be there for 20 hours.
Right.
Or however many hours. I don't know if the ABCC requires a certain number of hours that they need to be present, or if it's just based on when they initially, got approved for it.
Okay, well,
He
let's
never-
use an
But he
let's
never
use
worked
equitable
there.
examples then, right? A package store. I own X package store. I'm there 10 hours a week, if that, and I hire people to sell the alcohol. Now, those people who are selling the alcohol have been trained in order to be able to sell this alcohol.
Oh, yeah, safe, that's.
Now, is the person that is selling that, I mean, is that what's happening there? Is the person who tried to become the manager the one who's there full-time and responsible for selling the alcohol? That's the thing. we
I
should
think you
find out.
need to
I
look
think
into
we need
that.
to find out.
If there's a violation at the bar or
Store.
package store, the owner is responsible. The store gets, the owner of the
Right.
building, of the store, gets
Not
the
the building.
violation.
Not the bill.
Not the building, that the owner of the store. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of the license, of the thing.
Which is, sort of
Like
comes
if-
back to, if they start selling cigarettes unlawfully, and they're also selling alcohol unlawfully, that's gonna get, if they're doing something wrong, both of those things are gonna come out at the same time, because they're selling both the items at the same place. Not that we would look at that as be a proper safeguard, saying, well, you know, it's not really on the up and up, but if he gets busted for selling tobacco to someone who's 16 years old, well, there's gonna be scrutiny on him on how he's selling his alcohol as well.
Yeah, but that's not handled by us.
No, it's not handled by us.
Yeah,
I'm saying as far as the
cigarettes.
safeguard is concerned.
Just
is whether or
the
not-
alcohol, the owner would get the violation.
Right, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is from a violation standpoint.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter who it's gonna come from. If they
Yeah.
violate one, there's gonna be a problem with both.
Yeah.
Well, I think regardless, what do we wanna do? Do we wanna send him a letter asking him who is responsible for selling the alcohol on site? And how often he, as the manager of record for selling,
But-
having that license, he is on site?
But is somebody gonna check, because I know he's not there, he's never been there.
Well, one, I can pull the folder out and we can look at it, what's in it, and
Mhm.
see if it gives us the hours that he's supposed to be there. Like Michelle said, I think that you do need to figure out if he actually is there. Because you could receive a letter in just saying, or a response saying, yes, I'm from these hours, and then after that, you can do an investigation on your own, but I just don't think a letter is gonna suffice to,
Okay, I agree with that.
Well, and
I'm
my
not
question
sure
is,
what else we're gonna do. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm
and-
not gonna have a stake out there myself.
yeah, and again, I don't know, what the board does in those kinds of incidences, like if they,
We're not an enforcement board.
yeah.
And, Michelle, what is the end to this, though? I mean, are you trying to break your
Well, I
lease
was
with
just,
him?
yeah, I'm working on that, because he's violated it in many ways, but I don't know, it just got me mad to be, having followed the rules, what I thought were the rules, like, for years and years, and then just have this happen, and, like, you know, we'd see other things happen, and we'd think, well, they'll get in trouble for that, and, you know, it's just, I don't know, I just didn't think it was right, and it's just like.
And it may not be.
Right.
You may be correct.
I just
And
don't
I mean,
know.
it is a little convoluted as to, well, who's in charge of what and who enforces what.
But
Well,
if-
I mean, I guess, I mean,
example,
we could alert public safety that we have concerns about the operation, the proper operation of the selling of alcohol at the location. If we indeed think that we think that there may be a problem.
Well, if you'd like I said, I can pull out the folder, look to see what are the hours, and you can draft a letter and send it.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
what,
No.
I
No,
was-
she's saying
I was
pull out
making
the
a
application
snap.
and find how many
I
hours
can pull out the
he said.
application, review it, and see what's in the folder, and then you can have a letter, we can send a letter to him asking, like Jason had said, you know, what hours.
I think
We could ask him
above and
just to-
beyond that, we think
we
we
could-
want her to come here. I'd like to
We
talk.
can make him provide his payroll.
Yeah,
Show
okay.
us who's on your payroll, and what hours are they working. He can-
So do
he-
you want maybe then just a letter to bring him into the next,
And
board
yes,
meeting?
yes, and if you could have that
And then have that
information.
ready, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
certainly.
If he doesn't do that, you think maybe we should have one of our agents police department do it? Because how can we be a judge and jury?
We can't be. We can
Yeah.
only, see what he provides us
Yeah.
based on the information we have, and if we still have concerns about it, then the next step is to, I contact the ABCC, I think.
And
would
does
be
the
the-
board want to address
they could do
anything
a lot
about
more
the
than
tobacco, or
us.
just let Michelle notify the Board of Health on her own if she wants that to be an agenda item? Because again, the tobacco and alcohol are separate, so.
We could request that someone from the Board of Health comes to our next meeting to hear what's transpiring, and they could answer our questions about that. And that
They're
would
the
take
only ones
care-
that do the sting guidelines on the alcohol.
I would
So they
request
know
that
it
they're
all.
at our next meeting. You could kind of fill them in why we're asking them to be here, but then when we ask a question and it's answered, both of us are sitting here, both boards, that the questions would be asked. I think that's the best way to do it, if we both boards here at one time.
Of course, confirm, first, we have to confirm that it is indeed the Board of Health that we should be talking
I believe it is, they're the ones that issue the tobacco licenses. Who else?
about. So do we want the board, someone from the Board of
A
Health, or
representative.
the,
A
or the
representative.
I
health
think
agent?
Jackie Duda should be here. I think she should be here.
She's taking prisoners.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask
Yeah.
if someone can,
Well, I mean,
someone
she
who
would be the
knows more
first
than we
step,
do.
and then she
Yeah.
needs to
Now,
bring
we
it back
see
to the
the
full
head of-
board.
head of the
Yeah.
Board of Health.
Right,
She's the health
she would
inspector.
report that to
Huh?
them.
She's the health inspector.
Oh, health inspector.
Okay.
Do that
I'll
or-
do that for the next meeting.
Great,
Okay,
okay,
All right, thank you.
no problem.
make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Second.
Oh, I know you do.
3
Okay, it's
hours,
3
3
hours.
hours.
It's not even gonna be, it's 10 o'clock at night, going to eat, it's late.
There's a motion to adjourn,
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That will
You shut up,
please.
don't go anywhere. Mike.
I can't.